Hello, welcome to Hypnosis with Dr. Bill Stiles. And this is Dr. Bill Stiles. I'm sitting here with three wonderful people, as we usually have. We have Stacy Fote, and she's the master degreed educator with degrees in special education, and she's very interested in mind programming. In fact, she's down at the clinic with me every once in a while, a couple times a week, and observing what's going on there. And she'll be interviewing two wonderful people here. We have Debbie Casper, and I'm not going to steal Stacy's thunder, but Debbie lost weight on my weight loss program. And we also have Dan, her husband, here. And Dan never saw me. Oh, I mean, he saw me when Debbie came into the clinic, but he didn't see me for weight loss. But he's going to tell you something. It's like osmosis or something. Debbie lost weight, and Dan started losing it too. So I'm going to just sit back, and I'm going to ask Stacy to ask some questions that I believe you, the listener, would ask of someone that has come into my clinic. So, Stacy, would you say hello to everybody and just go with it?
Yes, I'd like to say hello to all of our listening audience. It's a delight to be here again, and I'd also like to congratulate Debbie on her weight loss success. It is just absolutely awesome, and I'm so pleased to meet her because when I am in at the office, she is one of those success stories that is just full life poster size. There is a poster of her before and after pictures, and I didn't realize I was going to be able to meet one of our poster children, if you'd like to call it. So I am just delighted to meet her today. Debbie, I was wondering if you could just tell us how much did you actually lose on Dr. Stiles' program?
Well, I lost 85 pounds.
Wow.
Oh, that is wonderful. Have you ever tried other programs to lose weight?
Well, I think mostly just on my own. I would try and lose weight, but I might lose 10, 15 pounds and then put it right back on again.
Like all of us closet dieters.
Yeah. I always had great motivation, and then it would just fizzle off.
Yes,
So
definitely. I know how that is. Now, as you were doing your weight loss program after being with Dr. Stiles, could you tell us how long did it take for you to lose the weight?
Well, I think I lost most of it in about 8 to 9 months, but the last 10 or 15 pounds, I had to do a lot of extra exercise and things. Those last 10 or so are probably the toughest of all of them to lose. So, but I just stuck with it and got down to what I wanted.
The program that he had you follow after the hypnosis session, did you feel that it was hard to do?
No, it really wasn't. I think I'm provided the tools. I mean, you have to do the work, but the tools are there, and it's like a road, a highway almost. You just stay on the highway, and that really, it's like a visualization. I just have a road to go on, and I just stay with it.
Well, you mentioned tools. Could you explain to our listening audience what those tools actually are? What does that mean to you?
Well, Dr. Stiles, the messages that he gives you, they get into your head, and they're like little tools that when you get a little bit discouraged or something, those things kick back in. And you just stay with the program.
Are you referring to maybe some of the phrases that he gives you? Is that
some of the
tools?
Images. Like, you don't want to have the weight on because it is such a struggle to get around in the world when you have all that weight. And you get that in your mind. You think you don't want to go back to that. You want to keep going in the right direction.
That's right.
Because you feel better in the end. You're going to be healthier. And those are some of the messages that he puts into the tape. And you want to feel like that. You don't want to feel bad.
No, you don't. And how did you feel after you lost the weight then?
So much better because my joints had been hurting, my knees, my feet, everything was aching and just inflamed.
So it wasn't just a mental change for you. You actually needed to have that physical change so that you could physically feel fit and go about your daily life.
Right.
So it wasn't just a self-esteem
No, that's part of it,
process.
But really it was feeling better. I just didn't want to feel so tired all the time and stiff and inflexible, and health-wise, blood pressure was going up. I knew that was weight because I don't really have a blood pressure problem before the weight.
That's right.
And that dropped too.
Then you have to worry about diabetes kicking in if you're overweight.
Right. As you get older, those kinds of things start to affect you more. So I knew, I got to a certain age and I thought I really need to address this because I don't want to live, a crippled life as I get older.
Exactly. Now, woman to woman, this is what we like to know. Once you started losing the weight, how many sizes did you go down? I know we always want to say, "Oh, I went from this size to this size," you know.
Yeah, about 8 sizes, 7 or 8
gosh.
sizes, you know.
Wow.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Of course, you get to the store, and it depends, like, if you can find, like, I got to a 10, you know,
Yeah.
so that was really great, but then, you know, there's some manufacturers that aren't quite as good, and you're in a 12, you know, so you look
Yeah,
for the
you
ones
go,
that are in a 10.
Hey, I'm not buying them. I want to be that size 10.
Right.
Did you enjoy buying all those new clothes?
Yeah, and I didn't have to go into the larger size department. I could actually go across the aisle into
Yes.
the regular
Yes.
size, which is,
Isn't
you know,
that
really.
something to be able to do that and look in that mirror and know that you've made this difference for yourself?
Right.
That's wonderful. After you lost all the weight, did you see a reaction from people around you?
Oh, people were just surprised. They'd see me and they'd say, "My goodness, I don't even recognize you, and you look so much younger
Yes.
and
Oh,
happier."
yeah,
Extra
and
benefit.
Right. Yeah,
You don't
younger,
li-
yeah.
You don't just lose weight. You lose years.
Yeah,
You
it does
definitely-
age you to have the extra weight on, you know, and you have more energy and you feel better about yourself. So I think you project a better image too, and a
You
more
start taking care of
happy image.
yourself a little more makeup. You do
Yeah.
your hair more often.
Right.
Is that true?
To a degree, yeah.
Really? You always look great to me. I mean, well, of course, I don't see you that often. What made you say that?
Well, because I've done it myself.
Oh.
Yeah, every pound I lose, I just go buy another eyeshadow, you know.
These are the little
These are the
congratulatory
Right. The little
things
rewards
that
that
you
you,
do.
Right.
Oh,
give yourself.
Okay.
When
Yeah.
I lose 5 pounds,
It's a woman thing.
I
Okay.
get another
Well,
pound.
you captured my attention. I'm going to be quiet again. You two doing so well. Continue.
All right. Now, what made you decide to try hypnosis as a form of weight loss?
Well, actually, I had heard Lynn Cullen on the radio.
Oh,
I'm
yes, we
an
love
avid
Lynn.
listener of hers, and she believed in it, and I thought, well, I just might give that a try and see how that works. I'm pretty open-minded to things, and I like to try different things. So I had an open mind going in that, you know, I think this can work.
That's
Let's
right.
give it a shot.
And the positive attitude makes it work so much better for you. You go in and you know you're going to be successful. You take the session, you do the programming, and you come out a different person.
Right.
Hey, I've got to say something here.
Okay.
Website, drbillstyles.com. You know, there are people listening right now to you too and they say, how do I get in touch with this guy? Well, I've got to tell you, it's drbillstyles.com. And that Styles is spelled with an I. And the DR is for doctor, of course. I'm going to say it again now. drbillstyles.com. Now, you can get like a full consultation by going onto the website, and there's frequently asked questions and losing weight. And I want to tell you, Debbie Casper is on my website. And Debbie, you haven't even seen it, have you?
No, I haven't. I just discovered that today that I'm in there.
Yeah.
You're a celebrity and didn't even know it.
Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Well, I want to go back to something that was just mentioned a couple minutes ago. I understand that your husband lost about 40 pounds too. Can
Correct.
you tell us how that happened when he didn't even come in to see Dr. Stiles?
Well, he was pretty receptive to, yeah, he thought he could lose a few pounds too, and I was going to be starting to cook differently. We were going to exercise, and he went right along with me, and he started doing the same things, and then he just lost it right along with me.
Well, let me chime in here a little bit. Deb came home and she had this new idea of eating from Dr. Stiles, and I was always been kind of receptive to that sort of thing. So I said, well, if you're going to make the food, I might also try it too. And it worked. It wasn't that hard to do, and I ended up losing 45 pounds in the end. So I think it's a good idea. It worked.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just
Not
in the end. I lost 45 pounds everywhere.
Oh, that's great, Dan. I keep telling Dad, hey, you're on my program. You didn't pay for it. Send me a check. No, this is just wonderful. And, I do have a lot of couples come in, and I love it because when husband and wife come in, they work together, and
Correct.
both of them do lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Dan had high blood pressure too, and he still has it, but it's better and under control better now that he's lost the weight.
Oh,
and it's good for
okay.
him to, cut the fats and the salts and different things. So that's good for his health too.
Well, sure.
So.
Did you feel that this was something that was difficult to do?
No, I mean, you have to do the work, but like I said before, you have the tools to work with. And if you have the tools, it makes the job a lot easier to follow through with. And even now, I mean, I'm still doing the same things, maintaining the weight. It's just I still have those same messages in my head.
They're still there.
If, for example, I'm in supermarkets or different places, which is some of the things that were brought up on my tape. You see what people put in their carts. I still look at that.
Do you
And I
really?
never did that before, but I still look at carts. And I
Yes.
just look at people in like those automated little wheelchair things in the stores, and they're
And
too
you don't
heavy to
want it
get
to be
around.
you.
And I don't ever want to be that.
No.
Yeah.
And-
These are actually things that I tell people to deliberately put those images in the mind. Did you find when you were looking at people's carts and then you looked at them that there was a relationship between them and what's in the cart?
Definitely, yeah. And mostly the processed foods and the cakes and the cookies and the all the high fat foods.
So you had your category 1s at the forefront and your categories 2s that were way back in the mind now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and occasionally I'll have something, but I don't crave those things anymore. I really don't want them. And actually, I don't feel good when I eat them.
I just mentioned that today. Dr. Stiles and I were talking, and I said, once you have programmed your mind and you have begun to eat properly, when you start kind of treating yourself with that Twinkie or that ho-ho, it doesn't taste the same. It's to the point when you eat it, it almost makes you a little ill.
Yeah,
because
it's
the
sort
sweetness,
of bloating and,
yes, and the
heartburn.
sweetness is all like, oh my goodness, give me a celery stick.
Yeah,
Because I feel so much better when I eat that.
That's right. And it's not all just about the calories. It is
No.
about how you feel after you eat some
Exactly.
of those foods. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, you also mentioned tools after you leave the office. The hypnosis session is wonderful, the pre-programming and the educational part, but some of the tools are the audio tapes that
Correct.
you leave with.
Right.
How effective did you feel those were after you left?
Oh, that's really where you get the tools. I mean, even in the session we had at the office, that's all helpful, but it's really getting that into your mind over those 21 days where you think about it more because you keep hearing it over and over again, and it becomes part of what you think.
So you were pretty faithful to doing that your 21 days in a row.
Every day. Yep.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, actually, I did about 30 days just to be
Did
extra
you?
safe because I always overdo things. So I figured I'll throw a few extra days
If 21 is good, 30 has got to be
yeah,
better.
That's exactly right.
Do you find that you revert to it occasionally just to give yourself a boost?
I haven't really listened to it lately because a lot of those messages are just
They're
in there.
there.
They're just really in there.
That's good. As far as those audio tapes, I got to see some of the albums that go with the clients as they leave. There's also not only the session that you actually have with Dr. Stiles, but 3 other tapes. The super fat burning foods and the exercise tape. That exercise tape, is that something that you feel everybody could use?
Well, there's some good hints in there. I mean, I just was pretty basic. I just started walking, and I walk 3 miles a day every day. I even added some
geez.
jogging to it, but I had to back that off a little bit because of the impact.
The impact,
It was
yes.
that's
starting
not
to
good.
bother my back.
That's
so
what I like
backed-
about the tape, because these are low impact, creative exercises that anybody can do. You know, there are some people that come in and they have significant weight loss that they have to do, and they're not going to be able to do those aggressive exercises that some of these programs want you to do on TV.
Right.
And so his exercises just seem to be able to fit everybody's lifestyle and their needs.
How long did it take to walk 3 miles?
Well, I started out just walking about 20 minutes for
All right.
a couple weeks, and then I built it up. And eventually I was walking 8 miles on a Saturday.
Oh,
I'd go out-
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd go out and
Did Dan
bring
go
it.
with you?
Yeah, he went on some of those with me too.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I was wearing shoes out left and right. I really was wearing shoes out. I never thought you could wear shoes out.
We're making an impact on the shoe
Yeah,
industry.
right.
Well, so what, about a half an hour to 45 minutes to do 3 miles?
It takes me about 50 minutes to do
Yeah.
the 3
Oh, okay.
miles. Yeah, I walk
Okay.
pretty fast. And I
Okay,
try
that's
and
a good
find some
rate.
hills and things to make it a little bit more aggressive, because you need to get your heart rate up a little bit, to burn off the calories.
And how do you feel physically after you've done a walk?
You're just energized. I feel flexible, strong. And
Ready to take on the day.
Yeah, and it's energizing.
Right. Now, as far as the exercise, do you feel that was motivated by the hypnosis session? Was that something that he did put into the programming?
Yeah, I would say so, because that was a component of the program. I mean, you really have to exercise to get the weight off. I mean, if you
Yes.
don't do that, just changing your eating's not going to do it.
It's not enough.
No, you have to build up muscle and get some heart rate up and that sort of thing to lose the weight.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to just take a breather here. We're going to hear from Jan and Margie and Maria, and a guy, too. We don't have that many guys coming in for weight loss. It's about an 80%, 20% favoring ladies. I don't know, maybe they're the smarter gender. Who knows? There's a lot of guys that need to lose weight out there. I see them everywhere.
Yep.
So let's go to those tracks right now, and then we'll return with Debbie Casper and Dan. He's got a couple more things to say, too.
Hi, Dr. Stiles. This is Jan. Just wanted to let you know 3 weeks have gone by, and I'm pleased to tell you I've lost 25 pounds. I won't say it's always been easy, although most of the time it has been, but I always find the strength to resist. I've eaten more fish and seafood in the last 3 weeks than I think I have in my whole life, and I forgot just how much I enjoy it. Believe it or not, I went to 2 parties and enjoyed myself without eating all kinds of junk before dinner and no dessert. That in itself is a miracle. By the way, in case I didn't mention it, I'm down 2 sizes, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Hi, Dr. Stiles. This is Margie Towers. I'm just calling to let you know about my progress so far. I came to see you September 4th. As of today, I've lost 45 pounds. I went from a size 24 to a size 16, which I'm liking immensely.
My name is Maria Zarad, and I came in for the weight loss hypnosis on April 13th. So it's been 4 weeks, and I've lost my 12 pounds, and I'm thrilled. I can actually say no to candy now, most of the time anyway. The rest of the time I just keep it away from me. You told us to call back, so that's what I did.
I weighed in today, and to this point I've lost 53 pounds. I find myself with incredible willpower and just not wanting to eat what were the problem foods in my life in the past.
Wow. Okay, incredible willpower. I like to call that really mind power, because I happen to know that willpower often is overcome by imagination, which is mind power. And so that's what we do at the clinic. We give you enough ideas, suggestions, enough programming so that the mind sort of takes over. Stace, you look like you're ready to ask another question here.
Well, yes, you were mentioning the programming, and I know people have to wonder, when I go into the office, just what is going to be going on. What can the listeners expect, Debbie, just when they walk into the first office, before they even go in to see Dr. Stiles, and then when they do go in to see him? Could you tell them what they would be experiencing?
Well, first off, Dr. Stiles provides you a book to show you some of the different food groups, and there's just a lot of explanation about weight loss and things that you look at with pictures. Mm-hmm. And the tape, you listen to a tape before you go in, and then you meet with Dr. Stiles, and he's had time to kind of review a little bit about you before he meets with you. So he gets an idea of who you are as a person individually, because everybody's different and they come from different places when they need to lose weight. So he kind of listens to what you are psychologically, where you're at there, and your physical problems and things like that. And then he designs the program, the tape, around that. So it's very personalized. And when you hear it, it really hits home to who you are and not just a generalized, weight loss kind of approach.
So your 21-day program afterwards is of your actual session. It's not from another hypnosis session, nothing generic. It is very personal to you.
Yes, very designed towards who I am and what I'm about and what my problems are that need to be addressed.
When you were in the hypnosis session, was there anything that really stood out for you as far as, when he was talking with you? How did you feel when you were in your hypnosis session?
I felt very relaxed. There's nothing there to be afraid of. It's just a very nice, peaceful kind of setting. One thing that always stood out, and I still remember it, are the fat globule things that are in the chair, and he says, well, this one weighs this
Definitely.
much. And you look at that and think, geez.
That's on my thigh?
That's
it's
all
like,
that junk
no.
is on my thigh. So you look at that and then he say, well, this is like a sack of potatoes or something. And you would just, every time I'd lose another 10 pounds, I'd think of a sack of potatoes that I wasn't carrying around
That's
anymore.
Awesome. Oh,
so, it was just that
wonderful.
kind of a mental picture, too, that you get in your head.
That's good. Now, if you were to tell the listening audience, the ones that are out there about seeing Dr. Stiles, what would you like them to know? What would you tell them?
Well, that it's really pretty easy. I mean, if you're willing to do, the work, the exercise, and change some things, it's not hard. I mean, I've struggled with this weight thing for 20-some years, and I finally, got rid of it. And it's stayed off now, for 3 years.
That's wonderful.
So it's just changed the way I look at everything.
Sitting there looking at Dan, and he's smiling, and he looks over at Debbie, and he smiles. And I don't know, what are you thinking about? How did it affect her from your perspective?
Well, one of the things I noticed is we do a lot of gardening around the house, and it used to be we'd go out there and you're pulling weeds and all the other stuff you got to do out there, and you're not real happy with doing it. But at the end of the day, we'd be inside. Deb would be practically immobilized. She'd just be beat. She couldn't do anything. Now we can go out there. We'll pull weeds and everything. Then I'm ready to go in and sit down, and she wants to keep going. So it's made a big difference in that sense. But one thing that I think was a big surprise to her is when we're out somewhere and she runs into someone she hasn't seen in maybe a year, and she could go up and say hello to them, and they'll look at her. They don't even know who she is.
They don't recognize her.
It takes like 10 seconds.
Don't you love
and
it?
then you see the surprised look on their face. And that really helps Deb's self-confidence a lot, I think. She gets a lot out of that.
Boy, that's great to hear. Yeah, I guess she does more work and you can just sit around then, huh?
She gives me more work.
I have more assignments, though, for him to keep while I'm out there.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to give the website address again. I know there are folks say, I need to learn more about this. There's folks out there that thought, well, this hypnosis, what is that? People, most often question I get, they come up and they'll say, does this thing really work? What I really want to say I never do is, do you think I'd still be in business after 38 years if it didn't work? Oh, man. Okay, here's the website. Dr. Bill Stiles. That's spelled with an I, not a Y. Some people couldn't find me because they kept putting a Y in there. DR's for doctor. drbillstiles.com. Okay? If you want to call us, it's 724-940-2211. Went slow because you had to run for a pencil and write it down. I'll give it to you again. 724-940-2211. There's no high pressure when you call my office. People just explain what you need to know. We're going to come back in a moment now. I'd like to hear from some more folks that I have on tracks here. And this comes from actually the thousands of testimonies that I've got in my office. There's Bob. You got to hear from him. Now, there's a guy, Dan. He lost 31 pounds, not as much as you, but he did lose it. And there's Mary. She did about 12 pounds in 5 weeks, so that's a pretty good rate. Then we're going to hear from Kay. I remember Kay. Kay was a carboholic. Anybody out there listening to carboholic? Stacy's pointing to herself here, but Stacy's looking really good. Okay, Let's listen to those folks.
Hi, Dr. Stiles. This is Bob Minard. I was in to see you some 9 weeks later. I've lost 31 pounds and feel great. I appreciate it. I just wanted to let you know. And as John Signali says, you're the man. Take care.
Hi, Dr. Stiles. It's Mary Risch, calling in after 5 weeks. I'm still really enthusiastic. My willpower is just amazing. I've lost a total of 12 pounds. Every day I can find something in my closet that fits me that hasn't fit me before. It's really super. I'm really pleased. So thank you so much.
Hi, Dr. Stiles. It's Kay Nuttall. I was there to see you 2 weeks ago today, and I'm very happy to report that I've lost 11 pounds, and I'm eating much more healthy, and I just have no desire to eat the fattening donuts and cakes and cookies that I was eating before. I'm also trying to walk a little bit. My job is very... I exercise a lot at my job. I work in a hospital emergency room. Everything's just going wonderful. I just wanted to give you the good news.
Okay, that is good news. I tell you what, I'm going to give you the website address one more time and our telephone number. Then I'm going to finish up with George. We don't hear enough from the guys. Website, www.drbillstiles.com. Going to have to catch it quick now. Telephone 724-940-2211. And we finish with George.
Let's go to George. Hello,
Hi,
George.
Hey, Dr. Stiles. This is George from Uniontown. I want you to know that I am so pleased. I came to you on December 20th for a weight loss program. I have lost 14 pounds.
Wow, George.
I went through Christmas and New Year's. I did not eat chocolate. I passed on all the cookies, all the cakes. I can't believe it. You are phenomenal. I am so impressed.
George, thank you. Joe's looking at me with wide eyes here. Well, it's absolutely wonderful to hear from you. I believe you called my office manager, Pat, and gave her some information on that, and she passed it on, but at the time, she didn't tell me you lost 14 pounds over the holiday.
Well, I heard you on the air tonight, and I thought I had to call in. I just left a restaurant where I had some salad and a few other things, but I've passed on desserts for 2.5 weeks now. I am so impressed, and so is my family.
Well, great, George. Has it been difficult, or do you find you're following the guidance of your own mind?
I'm following the guidance of my mind. I'm so relaxed anymore that's unbelievable.
Well, George, it's great hearing from you. Anything else you want to tell the people out there?
No, but those that have not come to see you, they should call immediately. And I'll be talking to you in a couple weeks.
Great. I look forward to hearing from you, George.
Thanks, Dr. Stiles.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we're out of time. I want to say thank you to our guests. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Dan. And to my sidekick over here, thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure.